I suppose as previously as a spokesperson on education, I would have met families right across the country in relation to this issue, and I know myself from my own experiences in relation to my constituency, but also my life in relation to the difficulties that many children go through in relation to school. What I find really disappointing about this debate is that we're being told once again, oh, this is not practical, or no, there's guidelines are coming down the path, or something is going to happen in the next 6 months or whatever in relation to it. But, you know, my attitude to that is that I don't believe it. And I know there's a huge difficulty in relation to this. We know, for instance, that there's been 3 girls' suicides directly in the last 6 months, directly linked to bullying. I remember a number of years ago, and I was talking to the father earlier on today in relation to this, but I remember a number of years ago a family coming to me about their child. The mother was going through the socks and jocks as they do with a child, and comes across this letter. And it's a suicide letter in relation to what the young fella was doing, and he outlined the bullying that was actually been going on in his life in relation to it. Now, 4 times before that, that family had gone to the school in relation to the bullying that that young lad had gone through, and with no satisfaction in relation to that. Now, other people got involved. The family ended up moving down the country, moved out of the area, moved out because of exactly what was going on in that child's life. That's just one example of many that's going on in relation to it. So you're talking about, in some cases, vulnerable children, in some cases, potentially vulnerable children, and in some situations where they're not vulnerable at all, but they're actually made vulnerable by what's going on in that school. Now, some schools have got it off to a T. They respond in kind in relation to bullying, and they have guidelines and they have ways of actually dealing with this. It's the ones that don't have any guidelines. There's no consistency. You could have 5 schools in an area, and each one of those schools will approach that problem differently. So we need consistency in relation to it, and we need to wake up to what's going on in Irish society in relation to that. I was bullied as a child. You know, I didn't see myself as vulnerable or anything else, but it made my life hell going to the school and from the school and in the school. That was a different era when I was going to school. But you're talking about kids going through the same thing in the 21st century, and that's wrong. So we need to be adopting approaches that work for our children, not talking about adopting approaches. So there's a practical solution in relation to this. If we're really sincere about approaching this problem, why don't we let this bill go through and let's have a real discussion in relation to what's happening in our society.